Hi everyone, Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. It's my pleasure today to introduce you to Kristin Doucet. How you doing, Kristin?
Hi, great, Teresa. Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, we've been a while trying to catch up. So I want to do a quick biography about you, and then we'll get to it, okay?
Sure.
Kristin is a stand-up comic, and she's also with a day job in PR working for a tech startup. That sounds interesting too. I
It
know
is.
sometimes you have to have kind of a backup plan when you're doing these things, but I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. Yes, I'm keeping my day job for a little while, for sure.
I understand that. Now, let's talk about what got you into comedy.
Oh gosh, I have to say, I've been married for 20 years. I have two teenagers, so I have a ton of material. I have a dad who's also quite funny, and growing up was always telling jokes. And a few years back, my girlfriends, I like to tell these stories about my kids, and
Oh,
my
okay.
girlfriends were like, "Okay, you got to do something with this." And they would sign me up for open mics, but I would just lose my nerve and I would never show up.
Oh, okay.
So finally, last year, I thought, okay, I'm not getting any younger. If I really want to do this, I'm just going to go for it. And that's how I started. So my first step, I guess you could say, was I took a course. So I took a course through Comedy Bar. And basically, what that did is it prepared you for the stage. And I had a great instructor, a guy named Dan Gallia, fabulous person. He literally put us on the stage the first day, told us to tell a story. That's a story that is still in my set to this day. And it was great because by the end of the 8-week course, you're giving a performance to a live audience.
Oh, is that right? Now,
So
I know
that's
you're out Toronto way. I'm east of Toronto. So was this in Toronto? Is that where you were at the
Yeah,
time?
so I live not too far from Yonge and Bloor, and the Comedy Bar has 2 locations. You can take courses in other places as well,
Sure.
but the one where I took the course was at Bloor. So they've got a Bloor location, they've got a Danforth location.
Oh, nice. I'm
Yeah.
actually originally from Danforth, the Maine area.
Oh, that's okay, that's exactly where Comedy Bar East is.
Oh,
It's
okay. Oh,
right
good to
there,
know.
basically Danforth and Maine.
Oh, if you guys are performing there, I'm gonna have to come out and see you.
Oh, for sure. That would be great. And that's actually, I host an open mic in that area as well. So it's a great
Oh,
area.
nice. Oh, definitely have to come then. Tell us a little bit about your story. So I know when you were doing comedy, I know you're working, I know you have a family. How did you, I know you said if you want to start doing it, but what was the story kind of thing?
The story is one that I've been telling for years. My eldest is now in university. She's 18, but when she was little, she was a real pain in the butt, we're gonna say. And she was very precocious and said a lot of very funny things at an early age. And when she was 4, as most 4-year-olds, she didn't understand boundaries or personal space. So if my husband and I were in the bathroom, she would just come charging in and swing open the door, never knocked. And one day, it was a Saturday morning, and I'm in the shower, and she comes barging in through the door, and she walks up to the glass shower stall, and she just starts staring right down there. So about 5 minutes go by, and she's still staring. And finally, I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm done. I get out of the shower, I put a towel around myself, and I look at her and I say, "Good morning, sunshine. What would you like for breakfast, waffles or pancakes?" And she looks at me in a totally straight face and says, "Well, I know what I don't want, hair on my vagina."
Oh, that's great.
That is the start of that's the story that kind of got me to where I
Yeah,
am today.
yeah.
And I have so many stories about her and about my son, but he's a little younger, so he's not quite comfortable. She knows the stories that I talk about on stage. And I'm very I make sure I'm respectful about it. I make sure I ask her if it's okay. And she's fine with it. My son, on the other hand, is
That's so
not
funny.
good with me talking about him. So I don't have, I have stories, but I have yet to reveal those on stage.
Oh, awesome. I love it. Now, I know you do Toronto. I know you had your start there. What shows have you been doing? Where have you been going? Do you travel or?
So I haven't yet, but it doesn't mean I won't. Again, I'm fairly new, but I've got a show at Comedy Bar on Bloor Street on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
And I've got a few shows coming up, and then I've also got a show at a relatively new comedy bar called Backroom Comedy. That's in a few weeks
Oh, where's that
in
one?
May, and I've got another one at a club called Dystopia. There's a lot of comedy bars right now. It's unbelievable how many comedy bars there are. And on top of that, so I've got about 6 or 7 shows coming up in the next little while, but on top of that, I also started hosting an open mic because I wanted to create sort of a space where people there's a lot of open mics and a lot of people do a great job,
Okay.
but I wanted to create a place where I know there will also be an audience, which sometimes when you go to an open mic, it tends to be just stand-ups, like practicing their lines, so you're not really getting any laughs,
Oh, I
and
see. Okay.
so you don't really get that sort of feedback.
Yes.
But I'm doing an open mic at a little brew pub called Red Tape, and I've gotten to know the owner because my son plays hockey in that area, and that's at Main and Gerrard. So
Oh,
you'll be familiar with that area. So he plays hockey in that area. So I know a lot of people who live there. So I had my first one a few weeks ago and it was quite a success. We had to turn people away because we were at capacity, which is a great problem to
yeah,
have.
that is
But
a
I
great problem.
think, yeah, it was great. I had 22 comedians come out. I think that the best part of that is they really enjoyed just the atmosphere because people were laughing.
Yeah.
Everybody recognized what a hard thing it is to do to get up and do 5-minute sets.
Absolutely. Honestly, I think it's great that first to make people laugh, that's a gift. So that's the first thing. And then to stand up there and have to do it, I'm sure your first time you're probably, oh my God, right?
Yeah, it's I as I go move through my 50s, I think for me, it's getting out of that comfort zone is a little bit maybe easier for me now than it would have been 20 years ago, but it still doesn't mean I don't have the nerves right before I get up. I just did Yuck Yucks last week and I always get nervous before I go up. But I think that shows that you care and you're passionate about it. Like I would be worried if the day comes where I didn't feel anything, that I'd have to say to myself, is this really what I want to do? And you don't always get laughs, right? And so you do have to have this sort of growth mindset, I think. And you have to be willing to risk, basically, and willing to accept that you're not going to land every joke and every audience is not going to be my audience. Like I talk a lot about menopause and
Okay.
I've gone into comedy bars where the average age is like 24, 25.
Yeah, so that's not going to work.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to pivot to something else. But that's again, and that comes with practice. And
Sure.
I have material, I have a lot of material, but I'm not a professional yet. And I don't have enough material where I can just say, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm still working on that. I'm trying to learn how to be more adaptable because every group is different.
Yeah, I would think so. When I think about stand up, of course, we think of people like, I don't know, originally Johnny Carson was one I would have listened to. I'm
Yep, me
dating
too.
myself, but yeah. So as he did it, the same thing. You could tell he was having nights where, and so first you could tell he was having nights where it just wasn't going for him. And he would laugh even about that, right? He
Yep.
learned how to laugh that off. But the big thing for him was he had a changing audience every time he was on the show, just like yourself. So you don't know what you're going to get in the open mic. You don't know what you're going to get in the theater or wherever you're doing your presentation. So you have to adapt to all of that. And the other thing I was thinking while you're doing, I'm thinking you're standing up, Kristin, you're going to these clubs. These are unfamiliar, some of these places. And now, not only that, you have to come up with material. So I give you guys a lot of credit. I love having comedians on and young singers, all of you trying the best you can to make it. I'm absolutely all for supporting you. So that's terrific. There's
Thank
another
you.
place I
Yeah.
went to in Toronto. It was Richmond Hill. I saw my friend Carla Collins there. It was called the Jokers Club.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know if
Carly's
you've heard of that.
hilarious.
It was wonderful club, and I've been telling the comedians that come on, I know you've got lots in Toronto, but if you ever get a chance to go there, it's also a really good club.
Yeah, I've heard of it, and Carla Collins is very funny,
She's
and
great.
that's
She's
a
been
game
on
I
my
have to
show.
that's great. Oh, wow, I'll have to watch that episode, yeah.
Yeah,
But
she's a
I
real nice
also
lady.
grew up with Johnny Carson and watching Joan Rivers, and what I loved about Joan Rivers is I think she was just so progressive for the time, and she was one of the probably the only female comics who got up and did things where you weren't sure if you should laugh, and she was so self-deprecating, and I think my approach is I've probably been inspired by what she did, because that's certainly my approach, because I want people to know that whether it's you're going through menopause or you're going through a divorce or you've got kids and it's all difficult, I try to make my material things that people can relate to, and people going, "Oh yeah, she gets it. She gets it."
I think also, Christian, it's talented people like yourself during these times. We've had some very trying times for a long time, many
Yes.
years. I would think since COVID really has been the hardest time. So when the hard times come, the comedians rise and shine. They're the
Mhm.
ones that help everybody get through it. And you're the talent that makes us all feel good, even if it's just for a moment. So I thank you for doing that as well, because you're very necessary during this particular time of life, don't you think?
I do, absolutely do. I think the thing that with comedy really does bring people together, because to your point, it's not just celebrating the high points in life, but also the low points, because we have to have the low points to appreciate the high. And when we can see humor in the human struggle and humor in our own struggles, I think it just lightens things. Things become a little bit easier. And I think really good comedians do such a good job of that without minimizing it. I look at mental health. So that's a huge issue right now. A lot of comedians suffer from ADHD. They get up, they talk about it, they talk about their own personal experiences with it. I have a joke about how I don't have ADHD and I wish I did, right? But I have lots of other things. I've self diagnosed myself with various other mental
Yeah.
health challenges. But I think that it does really bring people together. And as much as people can be so different and come from very different backgrounds, and COVID was also one of those things where, as difficult as it did bring people together. And I think we're now going through that right now with everything that's happening in the world, and Canadians coming together as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But and then there's no shortage of material right now in the world.
Right? There, oh, I know I'm seeing all the comedians, they're just all jumping on it. They know they've got lots of material for years now, at least
Yes.
four, right?
At least 4, exactly, at least
Yeah,
4.
exactly, exactly. I think they're honestly, the comics like yourself, you're talented. It doesn't matter, by the way, you said you're in your 50s and you don't look it, first of all.
Thank
And
you.
secondly, there's comedians like Leanne Morgan who's come up, and
Yes.
she's not in her 20s, let's face it,
No,
and she's doing amazing. And
she's
what I
great.
really adore about her is she's funny, she stayed in there, and she's a different genre, and she's so funny. So just I always think people like that I admire, because she's not the norm. She said, it doesn't matter how old she is, she's just going to do it." And I think that's terrific. And you're doing the
Yeah.
same thing. You're out there with all the young people, and you're young yourself, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean. Out
yeah,
there with people not 50,
yeah.
and but you're kicking it, and that's great. Good for you. I give you
Well,
credit for that.
I'm happy you brought her up. Thank you for that, because I really look up to her.
Yeah.
I just saw something, I think, on Instagram. I don't remember because I do follow her. I mean, my algorithm now is all comedians, of course, but I've seen her show on Netflix, and I saw something where Oprah met her for the first time. And just, I don't think Leanne, because she's so down to earth, I don't think she realized that Oprah was this big fan. And I think so. I think a lot of comedians are very hard on themselves. They will do a set and they'll come off and they'll be like, I don't know. And there might be people there that thought that was the best thing they've ever seen.
Right.
But I love her stuff. I love she talks a bit about menopause, about being married, and her stuff about her husband. And
Yeah.
it's just so relatable. And one thing I wish I had was her accent. I simply think that people with Southern accents, like Nate Bargatze and her,
Yeah,
like
Nate Bargatze, there's another one. Yeah.
another one who I love because he's so clean, and I find it very difficult to be that clean and be funny for me personally, but I aspire to be like him. But I just think the accent just also just is just perfect.
Yeah, no, I really quite like her. And so the young comics like yourself coming up and behind, they're mentors there that have done it before you. So there's no reason you can't, and you're already funny. Just keep going for it. I think it's wonderful. And I'm always here to help promote young talent. And when I say young, you're young too. Young,
Yes, I
starting out.
feel young. I feel young at heart.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't want to negate that, because you certainly are. and you have a long way to go. You can make this work. And the other thing, Leanne was also talks about her children on there. And
Yes,
I was
that's
going to
right.
say to you, the other comment that really is Jim Gaffigan, who also
Oh, yeah.
talked about his family. And you know what? It's okay to do that. They'll grow into it. They'll learn,
Yeah.
they'll respect that you mean them no harm. You love your children, and it really is for fun. And it's not bad. It's not bad for children to recognize their mom has talent, and it's okay. Joking is joking, right?
Yeah, you're so right, and it's funny, like, my daughter she's 18 now, and she totally accepts it and thinks it's great, and now her
Yeah.
friends are following me and all that,
Yeah.
and so that's great. My 15-year-old, on the other hand, I've sent him, like, 5 requests to follow him on Instagram, and he doesn't ever let me follow him, and I'm like, "Why can't I follow you?" And he says, "Because I don't want my friends following you and seeing your comedy."
And
I said,
they're
"Yeah."
definitely going to.
And I get that, and I'm like, he's, "Mom, look at it from my perspective," and he's a 15-year-old boy. I get it. I get it. And so I said, "Okay, I respect that. I respect that. I will not ask to follow you anymore."
Now,
So
Kristen, what shows do you have coming up that we can hear about?
yeah, on Thursday, I have a show at the Comedy Bar with the 5 others, so that's at 7:30 PM, and that is on Bloor Street,
Okay.
and that's gonna be a great show. The theme of it is "I hate it here," but it's going to be myself and several other comedians,
Okay.
and then right after that, I've got several shows, but I'll just tell you about the next 2. The one after that is a comedy competition,
Okay.
which I will be up against a couple comics who you've already interviewed, so that'll be fun. I'm pretty
That's going to
sure.
be so fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Part 1 is tonight, which I am going to watch the comedians who are competing tonight and also to support them, and then part 2 is tomorrow. It's a 4-part series, and that is at the Lodge, which is Church in Wellesley. So
Where in Wellesley?
Lodge is it's above a pub called O'Grady's. So that's April
Wonderful.
14th, which is a
What,
Monday.
what was the crossroad, Christian?
I think it's Church in Wellesley.
Church in Wellesley. I missed
Yeah,
that.
it's
Church
right
in
on
Wellesley.
Church.
Okay.
It's above O'Grady's, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of O'Grady's. I'll have to remember that. So continue on.
And then after that, I am in a show at Dystopia. Of course, I'm gonna have to check my Dystopia is a club I haven't done yet. It's in Parkdale. Just have to look at my shows coming up here. And then after that, I'm hosting a if you follow me on Instagram, I've got some of my shows posted there, but I'm hosting an open mic at Red Tape Brewery, which is at Main and Gerard, and that is going to be at 7 PM on April 23rd. So
Okay.
that's open to any comedian, or they don't have anyone who wants to just get their start.
Oh, wonderful. Christian, I'm going to make sure all of the shows there, if you send them to me, I'll make sure
Sorry,
they're
yeah, I
on.
have them all listed here, but it was hard to grab that information
That's
so
okay.
quickly.
I'll put them in my show notes for after, and we'll make
Perfect.
sure that people know, and I'll promote that as well so everyone can
Oh,
follow along. Absolutely. And as you said, some of my other talented guests that have come on will be there too, so we can
that's
help
right.
promote them
Yeah,
too.
I know that Jamie Glassman and I are gonna be in the same competition. I think Rick David is in one of them either tonight or on Monday. I'm not entirely sure, but
Rick and Jamie.
that's gonna be fun.
They're good comics too. They're nice people, and I have had them on. I'm wondering if John Morley might be at one of those too, because he's
I think I do follow him, but I don't know for sure. It's a long list of people who are competing, so it's so you have to qualify in one division, then you move on if you
oh,
become
okay.
top 3, and it's a multi-tiered competition, and it goes on for a couple of months.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, it's good. So we know where you're going to be going. We know how you got here. So I know you have another job, and you're saying it's a startup tech, I think you said?
Yeah,
That you started?
yeah, I work for the last 3 years. So my background is journalism. I was a magazine editor for years. During the pandemic, I actually lost my job. My magazine went under. It was the first time I had ever been without a job. But within a couple of months, I started working for my neighbor's startup, and it's a tech company that's also in real estate, and it's called
Oh,
WAHI. So it's a challenging time to be in real estate at the moment,
mhm.
but I look after the content development for the website as well as the PR for the company.
Oh,
So we get a lot of public relations. So I work with reporters who are covering real estate. We do a lot of data driven journalism. So we pump out a lot of data that is really for consumer consumption. So if you're looking to buy or sell a house and you want to get an idea of what homes are going for in your neighborhood, is there overbidding? Is there underbidding? We have a lot of data that is available for free for consumers on our app. So that's what I've been doing the last 3 years. So I do this by day, and then weekends and evenings, I do shows and open mics and that sort of thing.
oh, that's wonderful. Wow, what a full life you have, and you have a family too.
I do, yeah. So one in high school, one is in her second year at Western, and then my husband works, obviously. So yeah, it's busy.
Yeah, busy world. And Western's a wonderful university, so kudos to your daughter to get accepted to Western.
Yeah, I went there myself. My husband and I both were there many years ago. But yeah, no, she's loving it.
Oh, that's terrific. Honestly, that's a great university. So well done. So
Thank
now let's go to today. So now you're doing all the shows, you have a family. What is the best? I know we talked about your Instagram. What is the best place to reach out to you if somebody wanted to book you for a show or go to the shows? What's the best place to reach you?
Yeah, I would say probably Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. It's my handle is just at Kristin Doucet. So KristinDoucet.
Okay.
That's usually how people find me. And I'm also on Facebook under Kristin Doucet. And there's a picture of me doing stand up. So that's how you know it's me because there are a few of us out there.
Okay.
But that's usually the best way.
And where do you see yourself in 5 years, Christian?
Gosh, I would love to be on Netflix, I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
Oh,
that would
wow.
be a dream, that would be a dream. I'm realistic, we can all dream. I would like to turn this into something a little bit more permanent, to be honest. I do love my day job, but if I could turn this into something where I don't need to be necessarily making a ton of money, but if I could make a little bit of money doing this and start focusing more on that, and I would love to do that. I also think that it's important to bring people up and bring people with us. So
Mm.
that's why I started hosting the open mic because I would love to start also doing my own shows. Maybe in 5 years' time, I've got my own regular show and I'm booking people. I would love to do that because I really enjoy the hosting aspect of it.
Sure.
So it's a bit of both. I'd like to take this to the next level. I am doing it really for fun and because I am passionate about it. But the more I do it, the more I really enjoy it. So
That's
we'll see what
wonderful. I
happens.
have one more question for you, Christian. We had a
Sure.
great day today. Would you come back and do another show with me?
Absolutely, anytime.
I would love that. And here's what I wondered if you would do. So the next time, because you're going to be doing a few sets, would you come on and do a set for me?
Absolutely, I would love that.
Yeah, really works well. I've done one with a few of the comedians that we talked about, and it's nice for the audience to see your show and
Sure.
get a feel for you. And then it's a little nicer for them to be able to go and say, "Oh, I want to see her in concert." So, Kristen, that's what I'm thinking. If you could put something together, and then I'll have
Yes.
you back. I'm going to do that with a few of the comics.
Okay, sounds great, and I will keep it clean.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're here. We have to keep it family oriented,
Absolutely, I got
right?
it. All right. So
But I would really appreciate that if you did that, and I'm so about encouraging and helping you move on in your career. So we'll have you back a few times as you grow. How's that?
thank you so much, I would really love that. Thank you.
I have no doubt you're gonna be on Netflix, and I'm gonna be turning on going, "Yep, that's our girl. She's on Netflix." Right?
That would be the dream, right? I feel a little conflicted saying that because Netflix is American owned, but
Well, by
it's
then, hopefully things will be sorted out.
yeah, exactly. After 4 years, hopefully things are a little bit better, but
You'll be there before the 4 years
I
anyway.
hope so.
Netflix will be
That would
asking
be
you.
great. That'd be amazing. No, I would be honored to come back on. I really appreciate the time that you've given today.
Oh, absolutely. I'm happy to do that. So, for everyone here, this is Kristen Doucet. Do look at her social media. Do go over to her Facebook and Instagram, follow her and see about her shows that she's getting. I'm going to have all the shows on here, so you're going to be able to go to them and perhaps get tickets and go in and see her. And when you're doing your open mic, we'll see about having other ones go over to your open mic shows. Okay, Kristen?
Sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, to everyone else, first, thank you, Christian. And to everyone else, this is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. I hope you're having a great day, and I look forward to talking to you all very soon. Thank you. Bye bye now.